Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Welcome to My Hometown. My name is Bill Horan, and along with my co-host, Nassau Community College student Zac Turkel, today we're shining the spotlight on the hometown of Farmingdale.
And there is no better way to find out what Farmingdale is all about than to talk to the president of the Farmingdale Community Summit, Mr. Ken Ulrich, and Summit Vice President and Farmingdale Expo co-chair Ellen Krammer. Welcome to the show, Ken and Ellen.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Now, let's start off. So the Farmingdale Community Summit is described on your website as a coming together of communities in the Farmingdale Union Free School District for the common good. Can you explain what it is that the Farmingdale Community Summit does and what that exactly means?
Well, it's an organization of basically everybody who's interested in trying to make life in the communities that make up the school district better. The Farmingdale School District encompasses a number of communities. It's kind of unusual in that regard. And our goal is to try to do whatever it takes to make life in the community better.
Can you give us an example of some of those?
Well, for example, we run a number of events that work to support things that the community does. We have what we call Farmingdale Jumps, which is a partnership with other organizations, usually the PTA, to do a basketball game. The Harlem Wizards have worked with us a number of occasions to raise funds and to entertain kids. We do Farmingdale Reads to help foster literacy in the community. And just recently, we had a speaker of a book that's about to be made into a TV series for Amazon, Under the Scarlet Sky. The author was Skyped in so we could speak with him about the book. We do an annual expo to bring in all kinds of people, nonprofits, businesses, community groups, to show off all the things that the community has to offer. We do an annual Farmingdale Remembers, which is a service every year to honor those we lost and to remember the events of 9/11. We have created things like a monument just in honor of our first responders for what they do day in and day out. We have our community assistance funds that helps our friends and neighbors who are temporarily meeting difficult times. You think of a way that life can be improved, that people need support, and we're there to try to help with that.
So you're a busy, Ellen and Ken, you're quite busy in your activities.
We're busy, but this is a team effort. We have a number of people who work with us very closely, the other officers, the board of directors of the organization. This is not a one or two person job. All of us work very well together to make things happen.
And as a good president, see that? He gives everybody the credit they're due. So,
I like that, yeah. So how long has the Farmingdale Community Summit been around for, and how did it begin exactly?
It began within the year from the 9/11 event. Mm-hmm. We lost many parents of children. We lost other people in the community, and we all came together to feel that we can help each other and help Farmingdale at least be a better place. Our general philosophy is that we help as a stopgap so that people can move from one place to another when things get critical for them. And what we don't do is advertise. Nobody ever knows where the check comes from. They have a general idea, but we don't say, you'll never see in the paper, the Farmingdale Summit gave so much to buy electricity for this family.
So if Zach or I get a check in the mail today, tomorrow, next week, it's probably from you, and if it doesn't say who it's from, so thank you.
You probably need it.
We definitely need it.
At that point, you would probably need it because thorough investigations are done to make sure that we're giving to people who really need.
I'm sure it sounds like obviously you're very good about it, but definitely. I'm still going to be watch for that check. I think Ken and Ellen like me, and I think they're going to. One of us is going to get.
I got to be a little suspicious.
Don't hold your breath.
Don't hold my breath. Okay. just change that view.
And I'll definitely try my best. And I know, Ken, you mentioned a little bit earlier about the 9/11 monument. And can you talk a little bit more about it and what was the story behind it?
The first activity of the summit was to get together to try to support one another right after 9/11. And we held a major remembrance event on the high school football field. And there were, I'd say, a few thousand people there. And then out of that grew our desire to have a community-wide place to reflect on the events of 9/11. The library donated space on its front lawn, and we created a monument. Actually, it's 3 monuments and some World Trade Center steel, and that's where the community goes annually to pay respects to the victims and to remember what goes on. And it's really very, very touching, because while we do wreaths and stuff like that, people not at all connected, or at least we don't know who they are, will show up, and there'll be flowers on the stones and stuff like that, just because people take great solace in having this place to go to reflect.
Now, Ken and Ellen, it's called the Summit, but when we were talking before the show, really that's another name or word for organization, as you explained to me.
Right.
So, first of all, can anybody join the Summit? Is there age restrictions, location, professions?
We service and use and work with everybody from 4-year-olds. We have a triathlon at our summit event.
Oh, I like that, a triathlon.
For 4-year-olds, where they earn a certificate as their first fundraising activity. So the 4-year-olds contribute to the Family Assistance Fund by coming and riding loops with around the Commons, which is the central area, with their trikes, and they then come into the summit event itself and parade and get certificates with everybody calming down, quieting down, and applauding them. So they get a sense of community, and they get a sense of giving of their time, and they are very proud of themselves.
Now, if we're not a 4-year-old, if we're a 28-year-old merchant or a 40-year-old teacher or a senior.
Yeah, there is something for everybody at the events. We have an art show, which is usually based on a social problem, where the children both write about the problem and give projects of some sort of art, and the parents come and see, and the community comes and understands that the kids really have depth of thought and depth of caring.
Now, do the people have to have some connection, either a business in Farmingdale or live in Farmingdale, or they were born there?
Do you mean to exhibit, or
to be part of the organization?
They need to have a connection to Farmingdale. Most of the people are either businesses in the community or residents of the community. I don't think that our charter is to service those people, but
naturally, so they would be naturally part of it. Okay.
I see. So when and where are your meetings held, and what goes on at a typical meeting? Does something interesting happen? What usually happens at those meetings?
Our meetings are I'm going to say, kind of routine, like any other business meeting, to try to keep the organization going. We have subcommittee meetings of the various events that we do, and that those will probably be much more interesting. At our general meetings, people come just to hear what's going on with other organizations, but the actual planning of the event, like the Expo that we have coming up on March 26th, that's a subcommittee of the Expo committee to create that.
Okay.
And we usually get about 1,000 residents from the community coming through the high school gym.
Well attended.
Wow. I like that.
And in fact, we do things that are just fun as well. The Chamber of Commerce, for example, is sponsoring an Easter Bunny photo. So there'll be a booth set up where we're going to have an Easter Bunny, so people can come and take photos with their children and the Easter Bunny, and that's all free. we don't look to make a killing on everything. We would like to bring in a few dollars so that we can fund our family assistance fund, but we also recognize the fact that we have an obligation to let people have fun just in being together and celebrating the things that the community has out there.
And I think everybody needs to have fun in life, or else you would have a pretty boring life. I'm sure. Before Bill moves on to his next question, I just want to let the listeners know that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Zac Turkel, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking to the president of the Farmingdale Community Summit, Ken Ulrich, and Summit Vice President and Farmingdale Expo co-chair, Ellen Krammer.
Now, Ken and Ellen, you're talking about the event that's coming up, your annual Expo and Health Fair. Can you tell us about this event?
Well, we fill the high school gym with tables that are purchased by businesses, by nonprofits in town, by community service organizations, Girl Scouts, fire department. We have the Farmingdale College nursing department is there doing free blood pressure checks. We have all kinds of community groups out there designed to help. Our local elected officials come so they can press the flesh and meet and greet the people as well. The school district has a table so that they can have people come and register to vote in the school district.
The entertainment.
Yeah, some of our local dance studios have kids performing there. We have a martial arts studio that does a demonstration. The bottom line really is we try to show off all the things that the community does. What Ellen was talking about the triathlon is a very big part of it, where the preschoolers raise funds, and then they come parading through the expo room as well. The PTA has a blood drive for the community also at this event in a different room, but adjacent. So we try to bring together as many different groups from the community as we possibly can, just to celebrate the fact that we're all there to support one another.
And where and when is this event?
It's at Farmingdale High School in the gym on March 26th from 6 to 8:30 p.m.
Okay, so about a 3 hour, 2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours.
If you want to get there.
And there's loads of stuff that the various groups give out and so forth. But more than anything else, it's fun to see so many people getting together with no other purpose other than to celebrate the fact that we're all there to.
Those events really are nice. Zach, I don't know if you've ever gone to them, but when you go to the community event, you see your neighbors, and you're all taking part in something. It's nice that we have that atmosphere on Long Island. It's still small town enough that we kind of know each other, the soccer coaches, the Little League, the teachers, as you say, the nurses from the school. And it's a good way to bring the people together, and especially in the end of this, because you're doing it for a good cause. So.
Yeah, and so I know that you are a nonprofit organization, but how is the Farmingdale Community Summit funded? Do you accept donations, for example? You know, are there any other kinds of stuff?
We do accept donations, and we hope, doesn't always work out this way, but we hope that the events that we sponsor will in some way help us raise funds. The Expo raises money because we do charge a nominal fee for tables. When we do things like Farmingdale Jumps, the basketball game, the profits are split between the other sponsoring group, typically the PTA and us. We do a number of fundraising events, and there are donations
people,
too.
Yeah, we have people donate because they've heard of what we do, and kind of like the fact of the anonymity and the low-key donations, where we're just trying to get people into better shape.
People helping people, and it doesn't matter whose name goes on it or what business does it. They're just good people.
Point, we've had a number of fires, and at one point there was a fire and somebody was moving. Actually, it was somebody lost a parent and had a house full of furniture.
Oh, gee.
And the furniture somehow found its way to an apartment that the person was able to get. And they were on their way.
You do a lot of good deeds for the people. And,
quietly.
Very quietly, that's true. We want to find out more about this, but at this point in the show, we're going to take a brief break. My name is Bill Horan, and I'm along with Zac Turkel. And today we're talking to the president of the Farmingdale Community Summit, Ken Ulrich, and the Summit Vice President and Farmingdale Expo Co-Chair, Ellen Krammer. You're listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And now we return to My Hometown.
Thanks for being with us today, and we're here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Bill Horan, along with Zac Turkel, and today we're talking to the president of the Farmingdale Community Summit, Ken Ulrich, and the Summit Vice President and Farmingdale Expo Co-Chair, Ellen Krammer. Ken and Ellen, how did you get involved with the summit, and how long have you been residents of Farmingdale? Come on, tell the truth.
Okay. I have worked for the district for over 50 years. I now run a preschool grant for 163 children who go to preschool for nothing, for no money at all. So that's really an extension of service in the community.
Ken, how long have you been?
I've been in a resident of Farmingdale for 35 years, but I began teaching in Farmingdale in 1968, so I've been a regular in the community since then. I just couldn't afford to live there for the first few years that I worked there. I got involved with the summit. I was president of the Farmingdale Federation of Teachers when 9/11 happened, and when the community got together to try to support one another, it seemed like a logical thing to do for the teachers in the community to be a part of the action. And just as time went on, the man who was serving as president moved on to other things, and I think I was I don't know if it was the wrong place at the wrong time or the right place at the right time.
The right place at the right time.
So it sounds like the requirement is you have to work in the community for 50 years at least. Right? Very, very easy requirement. Yeah. So you two are probably going to be the president and vice president for the next 20 years, because you probably don't get that many people who are working there for 50 years. So.
Actually, in Farmingdale, you do. People don't leave Farmingdale, and in fact,
they come back.
They come back.
That's a great sign. Those are the really good communities when the people have the root, and it also tells you. I think a lot of times, Zac, when kids are going off to school or college, I want to get out of here, and then they realize what that hometown was.
Exactly.
And like the title of our show, My Hometown, they're glad to come back, and they raise their family there, and they've got the nice little league fields. They've got good neighbors, good high schools, and businesses that care, and neighbors that care. So, and like you folks, it's really good to have someone like that around, and especially when maybe a little adversity hits.
It's interesting and talk about roots. The roots were there. We could see the roots, and we've watched the community blossom and come together. And it's been a very, very good thing. And everybody who normally might not be together comes together for a single purpose, and it does your heart good.
It really
keeps
does.
You going.
You feel good, and I'm sure it makes even the people who don't express it, I'm sure they feel better about it, and knowing they can help a neighbor, especially kind of anonymously, so you don't make them feel bad, is great. Zac?
Yeah, now, were you always someone who was very involved in community affairs? I know, Ken, you mentioned a little bit earlier, and what organizations have you been a part of other than this one?
question is not one that I was expecting. But yeah.
Wait till you hear what's coming next.
Yeah.
We're going to dig into your private life. He's got a lot of raunchy questions coming up.
I've always believed that you have a responsibility to try to make things better. In the 60s in college, I was an activist. There were a number of causes that I supported and worked very, very hard for. This just seemed to be a normal kind of outgrowth, especially since there was no thought at the very beginning that this would go further than just creating that memorial service. I don't know that I've ever seen a time in my life when I saw so many people hurting so much as right after 9/11, and there was just no way that a caring person wouldn't have gotten involved. And then when the opportunity came around, again, as a natural outgrowth of the organization, to continue with helping people who needed help, there was just no choice. It just kind of evolved very, very naturally. And I think that's probably true. The exact details might have changed, but for everybody who works with the Summit, I think that kind of thing is there. We're an unusual organization in that if you were to examine our political beliefs, they are about as diverse as you could possibly be. But all of that baggage is totally forgotten and not even spoken about because it's just not important when we get together to try to do these kinds of things. It's people who want to help other people.
And I like that, yeah.
And obviously that's the way it should be. We have to forget other backgrounds, religion, the team preferences, everything else, politics, and help the neighbors. And if we do that, everything else will come together. Now, Ellen, I think you mentioned you're running a preschool.
Yes.
And it's at no cost to the people there, which
Correct.
is what an enormous benefit.
Yes.
And Ken, what is your background? Fill us in on that a little bit. What are you doing now?
I am on the Nassau County Library System Board of Trustees. I work with the Friends of the Farmingdale Library. I am also involved very much with the retired teachers in Farmingdale and in Nassau County and in the state. I am very much involved in trying to affect positive political change. I keep busy.
I know it sounds like it. I don't know how you're both able to do all that you do. You know, I spend my day watching Dr. Phil, and I figure that's a busy day. And we won't even talk about what Zac does.
No, it's probably not very good if I mention it. And getting back to the Farmingdale Community Summit, since its founding, what other notable contributions has the Summit made to the Farmingdale community?
Well, in addition to the monuments for 9/11, we do have a monument. It's a fountain, actually, that we had installed at the public library with a plaque that just honors our first responders on a daily basis. We've run a number of events throughout the community, like these basketball games and so forth. But I think that the fact that we are there to help people who are meeting temporarily difficult times, that, I think, is what really characterizes the work we do on a day in and day out kind of basis. And I couldn't even tell you how many people we've helped because we don't approach it that way. And I couldn't give you a list of names because I don't know them. You know, we keep the records that are necessary for the IRS and so forth, but everything is anonymous. But I think what I am proudest of is that there are people out there who eat, who have heat, whose rent can be paid because of the work that we do.
How would you say, what are the goals of the summit? Is there an overall goal that you aim for, a mission statement?
Everything about the summit is fluid. We look at what does the community need, what do people need, what can we do to make things better. So I'm used to tying things down to a concrete goal. The fluid goal is what works here. Help anonymously, make things better in the Farmingdale community, and that really is what's important. And I give tremendous credit to Ken. He talks about the various people. You have no idea how he smooths edges and doesn't allow us to move from what, if we need a goal, the goal is to help people, period.
The sign of a good leader, and that's why he's president of so many organizations. They all see that, and
it is
grab
an
him up.
amazing thing, and I tend to look at something and pick, and I can't even pick a little bit.
But that's the right mark of a leader, so that's what we...
I think Ellen is being far too generous. I think that...
No.
That if you look at the work that the relatively small group of people who do the work of the summit do...
Yes.
It is selfless for everybody, and... It is certainly not about me or about any...
it's not about you,
we
but you
understand.
help.
And it's good you give the people the credit, and I'm sure they're a very important part, but it's good to have a good leader, too. That always counts.
Definitely, and I just want to let the listeners know that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Zac Turkel, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking to the president of the Farmingdale Community Summit, Ken Ulrich, and Summit Vice President and Farmingdale Expo Co-Chair, Ellen Krammer. And Ken, let's explore some of the programs, and Ellen too, that the Farmingdale Community Summit offers, starting with the Family Assistance Fund. What is that exactly?
When people are meeting difficult times temporarily, we're not around, we don't have the funds to keep going forever, but when people have a short-term and immediate need for help, they turn to us, and we have social workers check things out and so forth, and a financial grant shows up, a check shows up to help. Often it's a simple thing like gift cards at a local supermarket, or gift cards at a store because the family needs, let's say there's been a fire and the kids need to have underwear or something like that. The immediate needs, or a family for whatever reason can't afford heating oil. We'll pay for a tank of oil, or if PSE&G is about to turn off electricity, we'll pay the electric bill. We do what the family needs in that particular circumstance, and you can't say this is what we do all the time. It's whatever help is needed, we try to provide in that circumstance.
Ken and Ellen, if there's a local car dealer or lawyer, insurance agent, teacher who's listening to this and says, oh, gee, I'd like to be part of that, how would they get in touch with you, and how, is there a website or an email?
Sure, they can go to the farmingdalesummit.org, and everything is right there. A way to get in touch with us, who we are, what we do, and so forth.
So farmingdalesummit.org, if you want to take part, maybe even a college student, if you want to be part of this, if you want to see some fine leaders who do things the right way, help their neighbors, get out there, do it quietly, they're not looking for a lot of publicity or accolades. Ken and Ellen really seem to be doing the right thing for the right reason, and having a lot of fun doing it, which is even more important. So, and maybe you can get out there and take part in the Expo and the Summit and see how things are done, and see where you fit in. Ken and Ellen, we want to thank you for being with us today, and we want to remind our listeners that you've been listening to My Hometown. Our guests today have been Mr. Ken Ulrich. He's the president of the Farmingdale Community Summit, and Miss Ellen Krammer. She's the Summit Vice President and the Farmingdale Expo Co-Chair. We want to thank both of you for being with us on My Hometown.
Well, thank you, Bill and Zach.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to My Hometown.
We'd like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to whpc@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.